Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Hannah. For today's video, we're going to be doing my best of 2020 makeup. So in this video, I'm only doing makeup. I'm not doing skincare and hair care. I'm just doing makeup that I found in 2020 and I loved, or was new in 2020 and I tried it out and I loved it. So yeah, I want to keep this intro short because we got a lot to talk about. So make sure to subscribe down below. Give this video a thumbs up if you do enjoy it. And if you want to see my 2020 favorites, and just keep on watching. Okay, so first we're going to start out with the eyes because that is what I do first. Really quickly, I have a lot of products, so I'm going to kind of go through things pretty quickly so we can get through it. We're not here for like 5 hours. So for brows, I'm not too particular with eyebrow products, but there is ones that I feel like I reach for the most and I always get a pretty good eyebrow with. So the first one is the Benefit Precisely My Brow Pencil in the shade 4. So I really like the color of this. It's almost like a cool tone brown. And you can get really good hair strokes with it. And it's got a really small, precise, hence the name, tip. I just feel like you can get really nice hair strokes with it. I like the color. I like that it's more of like a cool tone, neutral brown. I feel like a lot of browns tend to run super warm. And I don't like that with my hair color. So I've been really liking this one. And I feel like every time I use it, I have a good eyebrow day. And then the next one is the Fenty Beauty Brow MVP in the shade medium brown. So this one does have a little brush on the side instead of a spoolie like the Benefit one, which I do really like this brush. I feel like that's why I really like this one so much. It has a nice buildable formula. It's not one that you're going to draw on and have like super intense brows, which for me personally, that is what I go for. The Benefit ones like that, and this one, it's more of like a buildable formula. It's a little bit drier. So I do like that. My only problem with the Fenty Beauty ones is they break super easily. I've had like 2 break already, and I wish that wouldn't happen, but still love the brow pencil and the formula. I just wish they would fix the breaking problem. But yeah, those are the 2 brow products I've been using this year. And next we're going to move on to eyes. So the first thing I want to talk about is actually glitter. So I have been using these non-stop since I got them. I feel like if I just want to spruce up a look a little bit, add a little extra something to the look, I reach for these. These are the Heavy Metal glitter eyeliners, and I have 5 shades. So I have, what is this one? Starfire, Goldmine, Glam Rock, Midnight Cowboy, and Pyro. The one I definitely get the most out of is Midnight Cowboy. I feel like this is like the OG cult favorite. These are definitely not new by any means, but I love the colors. I want to get more colors. I just like them. I think they add a little something to your look. They're just super pretty. They're easy to use because they do have like a liner tip. If you can see, they have like that liner brush. So you can do a liner with it, you can put it all over your eyes. You can really do a lot with this, and I just love to use them. And they're not like the glitters, like if I use like a pressed glitter or a loose glitter where it's gonna fall all over your face and it's really hard to get off. Once these are on, they're on. They don't go anywhere. They don't fall down onto your cheeks. They're locked and loaded. So yeah, I feel like I've been reaching for these a lot, and even though they're not new, I just want to mention them. All right, and then for eyeshadow palettes, I have 3. The first one isn't necessarily this palette, even though I do love this one. It's like all of the little palettes. So it's the ColourPop Going Coconuts, but I love these little 9 shadow palettes. I think they're great. They're only like $9 or $12. I can't exactly remember, but the formula of ColourPop eyeshadow palettes are so nice. They're so cheap, but they are probably high-end quality. I really love them. Some of them have pressed glitters in them. Some of them have their Super Shock shadow formula, but I really like these. I never have a problem with these blending. I used this one today mixed with the one I'm getting ready to show you. So yeah, I love these palettes. If you are balling on a budget, or if you've just been trying to figure out if you want to try ColourPop or not, this is the time to do it. Great quality, cheap, and yeah, they have so many palettes, like so many eyeshadow palettes. No matter what color scheme you're going with, what kind of formula you want, they're gonna have you, and they're really affordable. Next one is another ColourPop palette, but this is for my girls who love colorful eyeshadow. If you are someone who likes to play with color, or you're wanting to get into color, This is a great palette. The packaging first is so cute. I just love like this rainbow packaging. But this is the Fade into Hue palette. This palette is a little bit newer, but I've just been reaching for it every time I want to do a colorful look. So this is what it looks like. It's literally a rainbow. So pretty. You have mattes in here, you have shimmers, you have pressed glitters. I do like the pressed glitters, but they do stay really well like when you're wearing it, but once you go to take it off, I feel like I have glitter on my face for the next week. But yeah, they're super pretty. This palette is like a colorful girl's dream. It's a rainbow, and I have been reaching for this a lot if I want to do some color. Okay, and then the next palette is definitely on the high-end spectrum / luxury. This is definitely a splurge, but I've been using it nonstop and I love it. So this is the Natasha Denona Glam palette. This is my dream. I love cool tones. I do have a warm tone version of this one. I don't have it. It's the bronze palette. I've heard really good things about that one, but this is the cool tone sister to that one. I love cool tones. I love like neutral cool tone eyeshadows. I think they complement my skin tone really well. I actually used this palette mixed with the Going Coconuts today. I used this one and these 4 shades. I used all the mattes and then this dark, like deep dark brown shimmer. She's so expensive, but honestly, I love her formula. I know some people say it's overhyped. I've only ever tried 2 eyeshadow palettes from her, so maybe I just got 2 really good eyeshadow palettes. I do love this formula. I think that the shimmers in it are really pretty. Her matte formula is like beautiful, excellent. Blends really nicely. I don't ever have problems with like patchiness or skipping. I just really like this eyeshadow palette. I know it's expensive, but I've been reaching for it a lot, and I've seen it in a lot of people's favorites for this year. I just feel like these are definitely a little bit more reasonable. I think that all of her eyeshadow palettes should be at $65 price range, if not lower. They are really good. I just feel like $129 is expensive. Like, I do have the Biba palette and I love it, but I feel like it should have been $65. And then I feel like I probably would be mentioning it in this video, but yeah, I've been using this one a lot. One of my favorites for everyday or super glam eyeshadow. So the next one is the Laura Mercier Pure Canvas Primer. This is the hydrating one. I have, oh wait, I want to let you know. Okay, real quick. This is the Laura Mercier Pure Canvas Primer. This is the Protecting Broad Spectrum SPF 30 sunscreen. So even though this is like more of a skincare product, I still want to mention it because I absolutely love it. This year I've been on the hunt for a sunscreen that I can use every single day that's lightweight, not greasy, and doesn't break me out, and this is the one. Since it is a primer, you can use this under makeup. The only thing I will say, it's some time to sink in because it can kind of make the foundation go a little bit weird. So just make sure that you give this some time to sink in before you go in with your makeup. But honestly, if you're doing any skincare, which you should be, before your makeup, just kind of give all of that skincare some time to sit in before you immediately go in with makeup. But yeah, this is not greasy. It doesn't make me oily. It doesn't make me oily when I'm wearing makeup. I use this all the time, every day, and it's just a great daily sunscreen. So if you have oily, acne-prone skin, try this one out. I know it's expensive, but I have been loving it, and I haven't had any issues with it. But the next primer is the Laura Mercier Hydrating Primer. I really love this one. It does kind of remind me of like a water gel moisturizer. It's super hydrating, but it doesn't make me oily or my makeup to get greasy. It just feels really nice and nourishing on the skin, and it has that like, you like rub it in and it turns into like almost like a water moisturizer, which I really like. I've been using this one a lot underneath makeup just to add some hydration because, as you know, I like to do a little bit of a hydrating primer before I go in with like oil controlling or mattifying or anything like that. So yeah, I've been loving this one. If I'm not using my Too Faced Hangover Primer, I'm using this one. Next one is the Urban Decay All Nighter. I really like this primer. Some people did say it broke them out. I haven't had any problems with that, but I have been loving this one. It is kind of a slight gripping primer, but it's nothing like the Milk Makeup. I was gonna mention that in this video, but I feel like I've talked about it so much, so that'll probably be an honorable mention. But I do really love this primer. I've been using this one a lot. As you can see, I've made quite a dent in it. I think that it's almost like a little like moisturizing and hydrating, but it still locks in my makeup. I don't get oily or greasy with it. It just makes the makeup go on really smooth and it helps it to last longer. So yeah, I have been really liking this one. If the Milk Makeup one was just too much for you, try this one. And then the last primer is my like all-time holy grail favorite. I think I did discover this in 2019, but I have still been using it all through 2020. I'm wearing it today. This is the Smashbox Oil and Shine Control Primer. If you have oily skin or large pores, this is like gonna be your best friend, okay? It blurs in the pore, it makes you look airbrushed and just like so smooth, and it really actually helps to keep my makeup on longer. It's not like other Smashbox primers where they're kind of full of silicone and they just make me more oily throughout the day. This one is like a gel kind of texture, and it actually really helps to lock in the makeup. If you have oily skin and you haven't tried this one out, I don't know what you're doing with your life. You need to try this primer. Okay, and for foundations, this was really hard for me to narrow down. But these are just the ones I've been using a lot and I've really have been falling in love with. So first is a Drugstore one. This one is definitely older. I've been using this since 2019, but I still wanted to mention it because I wanted to throw in a Drugstore foundation, and I love this one. I don't know if I could find a foundation at the drugstore that would top this one. Honestly, it beats my high-end ones too. I love this foundation. So this is the L'Oreal Fresh Wear Foundation. I have mine in the shade 400. It comes with a pump. Mine is super messy, so I'm not going to show you, but it does come with a pump. This is just such a good foundation. It wears so well, like so well. I can sweat in this foundation and it does not budge. It doesn't break up. It doesn't get weird. I can touch up this foundation, but honestly, when I wear it, I don't need to touch up. This one lasts forever. It is absolutely hands down one of the best drugstore foundations I've ever used. It's just one of my favorite foundations of all time. I constantly go back to it. I wear it for every day, or I can really glam it up and wear it if I want to wear a full face of makeup. This one is definitely more medium to full coverage, so if that's not what you like, you probably won't like this one, but it's just, it wears so good. If you're looking for a new foundation and you want to go to the drugstore, get this one because I'm telling you, you won't be disappointed. Okay, the next one is high-end. This is the Too Faced Born This Way matte foundation. I am wearing this one today. I really like this foundation. I definitely think that it helps to control my oils. I feel like it just gives you a nice coverage. You can keep it, I keep it more medium, but you can build it up to be full. I just really like it. It does come with a pump. As you can see, I actually haven't had this one for a super long time, but I have just been using it all the time. It wears well underneath mask. It just lasts really well on your skin. Oh, by the way, the L'Oreal one also wears really well underneath a mask, since that is something that we are looking for in foundations these days. But yeah, I've been using this one nonstop. I do have mine in the shade Cloud, which is like the pinkier tone. I feel like, again, I'll say it 1,000 times, Too Faced runs super yellow in their complexion products. I don't know what that's about, but all of their like complexion products, I tend to go with like the pinkier version because I do tend to run more neutral, but the pinky ones I feel like actually run more neutral than they do pink, and then the neutral shades run super yellow. So yeah, I've been using this foundation constantly. It does say it's waterproof. I don't really know about all that. Transfer resistant. It does transfer, but not a ton. It's definitely more minimal than like other foundations that I have. I really like it. I've been using it constantly, and it's just a really good foundation. Okay, next one is the NARS Soft Matte Complete Foundation. This one is for my full coverage, full glam girls. Okay, girls and boys, if you want full coverage, this is your girl, okay? When I tell you you only need a little bit of this, you only need a little bit of this. This is so full coverage. I've seen people say it's medium coverage, and I don't know where at. Okay, this is full coverage. It is matte. It is full glam. If I want to go full glam, I'm using this one. I'm not using this one for every single day, just, you know, light beat. This is full glam. I will say though, this lasts so well. It doesn't get oily. It lasts for hours. And this one probably wears the best underneath mask. I feel like this one is really good for not transferring. Obviously with a mask, you're gonna transfer a little bit. It's kind of just like, it's gonna happen regardless of like what kind of foundation you have on, unless you're wearing glue. Okay, it is going to come off a little bit because it is like a cloth rubbing your face. But this one definitely wears the best. I feel like I get the least amount of transfer with this foundation, and it's just so pretty. This one is definitely more of like the full glam airbrush finish, super smooth, super glam foundation. So yeah, I have been loving this one when I want to go full glam and I want my makeup to last all day and not transfer. So yeah, I really love this foundation. I feel like a lot of people have been loving it for good reason. Okay, so next I have two concealers, and one came out in 2020 and one didn't. So the first one I'm going to talk about is the one that didn't come out in 2020. This is the Cover FX Power Play Concealer in the shade In Fair 1. When I first tried this concealer, I think it was last year, I was like, I don't really like it. I don't see the hype behind it. It's okay. I really like this concealer now. I don't know what happened. But my main thing is when I first tried it, I didn't let it sit. And I was like, it's kind of a medium coverage. It doesn't do that great. I didn't really love it. For this concealer, for me to like love it, you have to let it sit, which I do that with a lot of my concealers, but with this one, I just feel like if you let it sit, it becomes flawless and full coverage. I do tend to go for more medium full coverage concealers. That's just my preference, but I really like this concealer. Did I wear this today? No, I don't have this one on. I have my next one on. But I really love this concealer. I think it lasts really well on the skin. It's definitely more of like a mattifying concealer. So again, if you don't really like that, but it is more hydrating than like the Tarte Shape Tape or the one I'm getting ready to mention. It's mattifying while still looking like hydrated and not like dried up dead skin. So yeah, I've been really loving this one. Again, let it sit and you'll love it, I promise you. Okay, and then the next concealer is the Makeup Forever Matte Velvet Skin Concealer. Again, this is a full coverage concealer, so if you don't like full coverage, you won't really like this one. Depending on how much you can use, you can actually keep it at a medium, but it's definitely more of like a high coverage concealer. I really like this concealer. It stays really matte on the skin. It's super full coverage. And it just looks flawless and airbrushed. This lasts really well on my skin too. I feel like if you have dry skin, it might be a little dry on you, but definitely hydrate and use like an eye cream underneath, which that's going to make any concealer look way better anyways. But yeah, love this concealer and I've been using it a ton. And real quick, I just want to mention a drugstore concealer I've been loving. So this is the e.l.f. 16 Hour Camo Concealer. This one, I think this is a lot of people's holy grail. They do have a hydrating one now, so if you don't really like matte, then try that one. But I love this concealer. It definitely does last a really long time. Once you set it, you're set. This one is kind of like a self-setting concealer. I don't let this one dry down because if I let it dry down for too long, it can be kind of difficult to blend and kind of be hard to work with. But other than that, I love this concealer. It's just so airbrush and flawless on the skin and it does not budge. It is definitely a super mattifying concealer. It's like a Tarte Shape Tape dupe. I am almost out and I have the shade Fair Warm. So yeah, I've been loving this one. Just wanted to give it a little shout out. And then next I have two powders I want to mention. So the Anastasia Loose Setting Powder in the shade Vanilla. I didn't realize how much I love this powder until I just kept reaching for it. This is definitely the one I reached for the most in 2020. One of my favorites. It's such a good powder. It looks really airbrushed and flawless on the skin. It helps me to stay matte. I feel like out of all my powders, this one really helps me to stay matte all day. So yeah, I really like this one. You can use it to bake or you can use it just to kind of push in and set the skin. They do have, I think like 6 shades, 8 shades. I can't exactly remember, but a good shade range. So again, if you're fair to deep, you could definitely find a color that works best for you. But I really love this powder and it just looks so smooth on the skin. Definitely my most used powder of 2020. And then the next one is the Huda Beauty Cupcake Powder, and this one has like a pink undertone to it. So that's what it looks like. I'm trying not to spill it out, but this one has like a pinky salmon undertone to it. This is in the shade Cupcake. I don't know if I said it, but this is the Easy Bake Loose Baking and Setting Powder. It does have a fragrance, so if you don't really like fragranted things or you're kind of sensitive to that, just keep aware and maybe skip this one. But if you try the Fenty Beauty one, they're kind of like the same strength of scent. They're both like a very like old woman, like a rich old woman kind of smell. So yeah, the scent doesn't really bother me, But I do really love this powder. It's a very finely milled powder, so it's just super smoothing, and I like to use it to bake, and I like to use it to set underneath my eyes if I just want some brightness to my eyes. So yeah, I've been reaching for this powder a lot too. I would say it's definitely not as mattifying as the Anastasia one. So I feel like dry skin and matte oily skin could use it. For pressed powder, I've been using a lot the Makeup Forever Matte Velvet Skin Powder Foundation. So yeah, this is a powder foundation, but I don't really use it as a powder foundation because I just don't use powder foundation a lot, but I kind of want to start trying it. But I really love this for whenever I'm having bad skin days, if I'm breaking out from my mask, which I have been a lot lately, and I just feel like I need some extra coverage. This is going to set the skin, help me to stay matte, help me from not getting oily, but it's also going to add a little extra coverage and make my skin a little bit more flawless. And yeah, I feel like bronzer and everything just goes over top of it really nicely. So if I've just been wanting some extra coverage while helping my makeup to stay on, I've been reaching for this one a lot. So if I'm wanting a full glam, full beat, flawless makeup that's going to last all day long, I'm reaching for this. And the next one is the NYX face palette, and this is in the shade Fair. So I do like the highlight in this one. I'm actually wearing the highlight mixed with another one today. I do also like the contour. The contour is definitely pigmented, if you can see. It's definitely a pigmented contour, so go in with a light hand with that one. I do like that, and I do use it. The main thing that I use in this palette is this shade right here. I honestly thought that would be like my least favorite shade, but it is such a good brightening powder. If I feel like my under eyes are looking a little dull, looking a little dark, I'll go in with this one. It's just a really finely milled, smooth powder that's really gonna brighten up underneath the eyes. Doesn't make me look cakey, doesn't make me look overdone. It's just adding a little brightness to the T-zone underneath the eyes. So yeah, it does have a slight pink undertone, which is what's giving that kind of brightness look. So yeah, I've been reaching for this a lot. They do have 4 or 5 shades, I think, in this palette, so I really like this one, and I've been using it constantly. The next thing is bronzer. So the first one I mentioned is the Fenty Beauty's Cheeks Out Freestyle Cream Bronzers. So I really like these. Like I've said before, they're so beginner friendly. It's hard to go overboard with these. I really never played with cream bronzers or cream products in general until this year. I love to use these all the time. They're very much a buildable formula, so you can constantly build this up to like a full glam look, or if you're just kind of wanting to go with like a light glam that day, you can also use it for that. They're just a really pretty natural finish. So I have the shade Amber, which definitely is more of a contouring shade, and then I have the shade Butter Biscuit, which is definitely more of a warm bronzer shade. I use this one the most, but if you like more of a contour and that's what you're looking for, go with Amber. If you're looking for more of a bronzer, go with Butter Biscuit. But again, they just blend out like a dream. So easy to use, and they're not like so much pigment that you're just swiping mud on your face and then it just looks like you rolled in mud. So yeah, really love these. I used these today. The next bronzer is the NARS Matte Bronzer, and this is in the shade Velarda. So I really like this bronzer. It's such a good formula. It's a little bit warmer than my In the Sun bronzer by Fenty Beauty, but it's still kind of that like neutral shade. It just has a little bit more warmth. But as you can see, these are pigmented, so definitely go with a light hand if you're using these. But I love the formula on these. They're just such a like flawless airbrush bronzer. I do have like a shimmery version of this, so if you kind of like that luminous like shimmery bronzer, go with that one. But I prefer more of a matte bronzer, so this is the one I tend to reach for the most. I've been using this one a lot when I haven't been using my Fenty Beauty bronzers or the bronzer I'm getting ready to mention. I love this one. I actually used this one today over top of the Fenty Beauty cream bronzer. And then the last ones are the Kylie Cosmetics bronzing powders. So I've been really loving Kylie's complexion products. I have her blushes that I use all the time, which will be in the description box. They're kind of my honorable mention. And then the highlighters and the bronzers, I've been using these all the time. So I have 3 shades, but the ones I use the most is Khaki and Tequila Tan. Khaki is like literally the same as Tequila or In the Sun by Fenty Beauty. I would say Fenty Beauty one is a little more cool toned, but they're still such a similar shade. So these are definitely a matte bronzer. So if you don't like matte, again, it's kind of don't get these. But these are like the exact same as the Fenty Beauty ones. They are more of like that buildable formula. They have a really good shade range and they're just easy to use. Again, it's really hard to go overboard with these unless you really load up your brush. So Tequila Tan is definitely warmer than Khaki, but I just like to use Tequila Tan if I'm going to do just a nice warm bronzer. And I just want to add a little bit more warmth, so I'll go with Khaki first and then I'll top it with a little bit of Tequila Tan just to add a little bit more of that warmth. Okay, next thing is blush. And I've been using blush so much this year. I love blush. I used to never wear it, but I have fallen in love with blush. I just think it adds a little something to your makeup look and it's just so girly and pretty. So I have a few to talk about. The first one is the Lawless Make Me Blush Velvet Blushes. So they do have kind of more of like that satin blush finish, and then they also have like a matte finish. So I have Phoenix, which is the more of the satin one, and then I have Vintage Love. So I have been using these non-stop since I got them. They're definitely one of my favorite blush formulas at the moment. I just love these. I think they're just so easy to use. They're definitely pigmented, so going with a light hand. As you can see, they have some pigment behind these. So this one is Phoenix and this one is Vintage Love. They're just such a creamy formula. Even the satin ones, they don't look like super luminous and dewy on the skin. They just give a nice airbrush finish to the skin and they're just so pretty. They're almost like a creamy formula in a way. They're like cream to powder formula. They're just so pretty. But again, make sure to use a light hand because you can go overboard with these. I definitely have before. But when I just use a light hand, they just look so beautiful on the skin. Absolutely some of my favorite blushes of the years. I can't stop reaching for them and I want to get more shades of these. And the next is the Patrick Ta blushes. So I know these are going to be like in every single person's favorites of the month, but I love these. Again, but you can go overboard with these. I did the first time, so just be careful. If you have this monochromatic blushes, just like the powder blushes, and you know how like sheer and buildable those were, girl, this is something different. Okay, these are definitely a lot more pigmented. As you can see, I don't know if he changed the formula, but they're definitely way more pigmented than his monochromatic ones. But I love that these come with the cream and the powder. He says to go on the powder than the cream for more of that dewy, glowy look. But I always go with the cream then the powder. This really helps me to get into cream blushes since it comes with the powder and the cream, because I always like to set my cream blushes just so they don't move or go anywheres. But I've really been loving these. I can't stop using this one. So this is the peachy one in Do We Know Her? Then we have She's That Girl, which is like the pinkier one, which you know I love a pink blush. And then we have the shade She's So LA, which I'll use this one as a bronzer and a blush. So sometimes I'll use this kind of like a bronze topper. Sometimes I'll just use this as kind of like a bronzy blush. I actually mix the peachy one with the bronzy one today just because I kind of want like a bronzy peachy blush. So I just mixed the powders. I didn't use the creams because I actually used one of my other ones I'm getting ready to talk about. So yeah. Okay, and then the last blush I want to talk about is the Rare Beauty blushes. So I have been using these ones a lot. I used this one today in the shade Bliss. It's definitely kind of like a peachy blush. So they do have a matte. I think they have like 4 mattes or something and then 4 dewy versions. I don't feel like the dewy ones are super dewy, probably because I set them with the powder. But these are so pretty. So these are the shades Bliss, which is like a peachy version, and that is the matte one. And then I also have Happy, which is like a dewy pink. So yeah, I've been using these a lot. Like I've said before, these are so pigmented, so just go with the light hand. I don't dot them on my face. I just kind of do a little on my hand, and then I'll take my brush and kind of blend it around so I get evenly spread it on my brush and I don't have too much. So yeah, I love these. Again, you can go overboard with these, so just be careful. I wouldn't say these are super beginner friendly, but they are really pretty. They have great colors, and if you like dewy, they have you covered. If you like matte, they also have you covered. You can definitely go for like that dewy minimalist look, or you can go full glam with these. But I have been using these a lot, and I actually want to pick up some more shades of these, even though I think they just came out with some cream blushes, so maybe I'll try out those. Oh, I do have one highlight to mention. I don't really wear highlight that much anymore. I've been reaching for it more lately But I feel like I just go through my phases with highlight anymore. I used to wear it every time I did my makeup, but now it's just sometimes if I'm in the mood, and even then I don't do like the blinding highlight anymore. I just use a light hand. But when I have been reaching for it, I've been using the Natasha Denona Super Glow. So this is in the shade Fair 01. It's definitely not as dark as it looks in the pan. It's like a champagne-y kind of shade. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but this one is so pretty. It just looks really wet on the skin, if that makes any sense. It's just such a pretty highlight. It's very you can kind of keep it more natural, or you can build it up if you want a blinding highlight. It doesn't emphasize texture. It doesn't make my skin look weird. It just blends really nicely into the skin. It doesn't sit on top of the skin. It's just so pretty. And if I've been wanting highlight, this is the one I've been going for. We have a lip. So really I haven't been, there isn't one lip that I have been going for the most out of all my lips. I've been using my MAC lipsticks a lot, my Huda Beauty lipsticks a lot, my Kylie liquid lipsticks a lot. And I don't know, I've just been reaching for a lot of the same, like a lot of different lip products. But for a few that I have been loving and using and abusing. So first with lip liners will be, the ones I've been using a lot are the KKW lip liners. So I have a bunch of them. I have 3 of the full size ones. And then I also got the little mini lip set, and I have been using those a lot. The one that I used today was 90s Glam. KKW liners are probably some of my top favorites. I still love my MAC ones. I still love my NYX ones. But I have been reaching for these KKW liners ever since I got them, like back in the summer. They're just such a good formula. They are like a creamy formula. They're definitely creamier than the NYX lip liners or the MAC lip liners, but they're not as creamy as ColourPop. I don't like ColourPop lip liners because I just feel like they're so creamy. They go all over the place. They don't last a really long time. These are a creamy formula, but they're super precise. And they're not so creamy that they're just going all over the place and they don't last. These last really well. You can fill in your whole lips with these. You can just overline or line your lips. I love these. They're really good formula. They're super precise and they have great colors. So if you're looking for some nudes and you can't find your perfect one, go to KKW. I have been loving and abusing these lip liners. And they're just such a good formula. Some of the best that I've tried. Crazy, I know, but so these are definitely my top 3: MAC, KKW, and NYX. My top lip liners. Okay, and then for lips, I've been using a lot of gloss lately. So for one gloss is my Fenty Beauty Gloss Bombs. I love all of the Fenty Beauty Gloss Bombs, but I've been reaching for Sweet Mouth a lot. It's just kind of like a pinky, how would you describe this? Like a sheer, like baby pink. All of her lip glosses are a little bit more sheer. I haven't tried the cream ones yet because those are a little bit more full pigment. I really want to try them. I just haven't yet. But all of her like gloss bomb formula is kind of like that sheer formula. Just super juicy and wet. I love her gloss bombs. I constantly reach for them. And I've been reaching for this Sweet Mouth shade a lot. So if you haven't tried the gloss bombs, girl, I don't know what you're doing. You need to go get your gloss bomb. I also have been using these Marc Jacobs lip glosses a lot. So I have 2 shades. I have Sugar Sugar and Pretty Thing. So Pretty Thing is definitely more pink. And Sugar Sugar is like a light nude. I have Sugar Sugar on my lips today. And these definitely have more pigment than the Fenty Beauty Gloss Bombs, but they're still not like a full pigment. They do have like that minty feeling. I don't feel like these are plumping or anything like that, but just a really pretty cream gloss, if that makes any sense. If you want a little pigment but you don't want a completely like full pigment lip gloss, try these out. They've been on sale a lot lately. I don't know if they're getting ready to get rid of them or if they're changing the packaging or what, but they have been on sale. But I have been reaching for these a lot ever since I got them, and I actually really like them. Okay, and then the last thing, finally, is the Fenty Beauty, what is this called? Lord in heaven, that is so small. Slip Shine, who can read that? Slip Shine Shiny Lipstick, and I had the shade Makeout Break. So I really like this formula. At first I was like, eh, but now I really like it. These are super emollient and creamy. Like, they're very much like a creamy, shiny lipstick. They're in between a lip gloss and a lipstick. They're not as shiny as a lip gloss, but they're also not matte like a lipstick. They're just a really pretty lipstick. You can use these on their own. You can use these kind of like as an everyday lipstick, or you can top them. I like to top my lipsticks a lot with these because they just almost like they wear longer than a lip gloss, but they still give me that creamy lipstick finish. So yeah, I've been using this one a lot. I want more shades because this one does pull a little peachy on me, which I don't love peachy lipsticks. So I really want to get some more shades of these. So yeah, that was all of my favorites of 2020. I had to film this twice because my camera cut off and I didn't even notice. So yeah, I finally got through it. I know that was a lot of products. I didn't even mention everything. So again, if you want to see everything I mentioned in this video and my honorable mentions, I always have them all linked down in the description box down below. You can click on the link. It goes straight to the product I mentioned. So yeah, make sure to leave down in the comments some of your favorite products of 2020. Maybe I should try them out. Or if you loved any of the products that I mentioned. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And I'll see you in my next one. Bye.